I mean, yo, this even surprised me. But I mean, I experienced more racism in Tanzania than I have here in Egypt. And I was in the middle of filming my intro, and somebody just sent me a Cash App right now. So shout out to TNT with Mike and Jazz for sponsoring today's video. If you ever want to support the channel, support the journey that we have going on here, my PayPal and Cash App is all linked in the description. Shout out to TNT with Mike and Jazz for sponsoring today's video. Shalom, it's Oliver Eddie. Please go ahead and like this video. Let's go ahead and reach 1,000 likes on today's video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Our goal is to reach 20,000 subscribers. And the first person I see to drop the word No Limit Crew in the comment section, I'm going to pin your comment to the top for everybody to see. Okay, if you don't know, right now I'm here in Egypt, which is dope. It's really nice country. But before coming here, I had a lot of negative thoughts around this country because a lot of things that I heard were not the most positive. You know, they're racist. You know, I heard that it's expensive to live here. I want to go ahead and dive into the top 3 things that I heard about Egypt and kind of tell you my experience, you know, with these things, if they were true or if they were not. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first myth that I heard a lot was that Egypt is not Africa. And me personally, I subscribe to this belief as well. You know, when I think of Africa, I always think of a land with dense green vegetation. I always think of a land with dark melanated people. You know, that's what I think of when I think of Africa. I don't really think of what is commonly associated with Northern Africa. And so, you know, I always believe this too, and that, you know, Egypt is not Africa, that type of situation, that Sub-Sahara was a real Africa, and I guess Northern Africa was this, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't the real Africa. I can say that basically Egypt is to Africa what Texas is to New York. They are both very American places, but in 2 completely different ways. You know, within Egypt, you still pay your electricity, you know, pay as you go, like prepaid. You gotta load it up. If you don't load it up, you run out of credits, your power goes out. Same thing with your water bill. You know, they have water tanks on the top of the houses, you know, really it's a lot more apartments, but they have the big water tanks on top of apartments. You know, in Tanzania, people ride around in the back of pickup trucks. Here, people ride around in the trunks, like literally in the trunks. If you think of like a Honda Civic, and you pop the trunk on like a 2008 Honda Civic, and it's, you know, open it up, put groceries in there. They sit in the back of there, then they hold on to the roof of the trunk. So and the seatbelts are optional in both countries, but it is very much so African. You know, there's a lot of things that are very similar to Tanzania that would never fly in the States. So I would say, you know, Africa, Egypt is to Africa what Texas is to New York. Both very American places, but American for different reasons. You know? So yeah, I mean, so of course Egypt and Tanzania share, you know, physical similarities like that, right in the trunk and the water tanks and paying your water bills and stuff like that. But there's also a mindset that they both share, which is a community comes before the individual, which is to me a very African concept, to put your neighbor before you put yourself. I've witnessed that a lot in TZ, and I've also witnessed that a lot here within Egypt. So yeah, so they share a lot of similarities, but they're also vastly different. You know, Egypt is nowhere near, especially the part that I'm in particular. I've heard there's green parts, but the part that I'm in particular is not green. You know what I mean? So, you know, I've heard so many times in Tanzania, yeah, put it in the ground, it's gonna grow. Like that way of life is not what it is here. You know what I mean? The people that I've talked to who grow gardens here, they have to import soil from the mountains and different things like that to grow things in this particular part of the country. And so there's definitely the land in Tanzania is blessed beyond belief. You know what I mean? I can 100% attest to that. It's blessed beyond belief. There's differences. You know, another difference would be that in comparison to TZ, you know, people don't look like you. You know what I mean? The melanated individuals in TZ is everywhere. Everybody's black. You know, here it's not the same. You guys are black. You know what I mean? That are melanated, and so that is definitely one of the things that is a big difference. And it might just be the part of Egypt that I'm in. I'm not sure. I'm definitely not seeing too many black people here. Definitely not black women in particular. So yeah, there's differences between, you know, Tanzania and Egypt, but to me they're both very much African. You know, the things that are allowed to fly here wouldn't fly in the West. Things that fly in the West would not fly here or in TZ. So there's a lot of things that are similar, a lot of things that are different. The next myth that I was told about Egypt was that it is expensive, right? Now this is one of the myths that I did not subscribe to you know, because it takes us a very little bit of research to see like what cost of living is in a particular city or a particular country, and you know, to get a gauge of what things cost and things like that. And they got YouTube videos too, kind of make it a little bit easier for you. So I didn't really subscribe to this myth, but it's something I did hear a lot, and it's something that when I tell people like certain things that I'm like, oh, this is this, they're like, oh, whoa, I thought Egypt would be pricey or it would be expensive and different things like that. So you know, yeah, one day I was actually in Tanzania and I was talking to a boat driver. This is when I was like thinking about 3 different countries. I was looking at Ghana, Gambia, and Egypt. And I was just talking to the boat driver, like, yeah, man, I like Tanzania. It's a really dope spot, but it's a little bit difficult with visa, different things like that, you know. Let him know a couple of things. And but the moment I mentioned Egypt, he was like, oh, no, no, no. Like, it's expensive there. Everything's going to cost so much because it's a desert, da, da, da. You know, and so that belief that Egypt is expensive is commonly held, you know what I mean, amongst other Africans, which is kind of crazy. I wonder, like, I don't know how much Africans know about other countries, other African countries. But you would think that, like, you know, they would kind of have a gauge of what, you know, what everything costs and everything like that. But expensive is relative, especially depending on where you're living, what lifestyle you're living, and different things like that. I'm a cheapskate for the most part. So I like to live frugally as much as possible. So, yeah, I say that's a myth as well. But this one right here is the one you guys been waiting for. You guys been wanting to see this, and it's going to be about racism. You know, now this right here was the one that scared me the most. You know, Egypt is racist. Now I heard this too many times, so many times. I heard it online. I heard it in people that I talked to that been here, visited. I'm just talking to as many people as possible. You know what I mean? And you know that one was the one that was getting me. You know what I mean, the most. And so that's why I was, man, I don't want to go back to an environment like that. See, because in California, I would say is probably one of the most racist states in all of America. And the main reason I'm gonna say that is, in particular, where I lived in LA, it is a very small landmass, but there's so many people there. You know, I don't care where you're from in the world, your people are in Los Angeles. I don't care if you're from any Asian country, any island that's off the coast and near, but everybody is living in Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is a very big melting pot, and because it's so small, everybody needs each other, right? Like you can't not go and support certain people because you don't like they do this or you don't like that they do that because LA is too small for that. So when it comes down to a city like Los Angeles and especially in California, you have prejudices against people. You know what I mean? You have prejudices against people, but you have to put on a poker face or a mask and deal with those people or deal with that type of person because you need what they offer, you need the services that they have, or you need their money for this, or so it's a really a tricky game. So everybody doesn't really like each other in LA, but we have to act like we do to basically just go along and get along. And so just to give you an example, so let's say, you know, when you're in the hood, you know what I mean, you need to, you need to go to the liquor store. Now the hood is basically filled with, you know, black people, and it's filled with what we would call Mexicans, right? And that's one of the prejudices that we have. You know what I mean? As black people, we call everybody who's Hispanic, you know, or Spanish speaking a Mexican, but it's not necessarily the case. They can be from Peru, they can be from Guatemala, they can be from this, they can be from that, right? So that's one of the prejudices. Everybody who speaks Spanish who looks that similar way is Mexican, right? So it's filled with those two people. And then the stores that are in the hood, you know, they talk about food deserts and different things like that. But the stores that are in the hood are typically owned by Chinese people or they're owned by Mexicans, right? Now, again, I said Chinese people. That's another prejudice that black people have in a city like LA because he's Asian. He doesn't have to be necessarily Chinese. He can be from Vietnam. He can be from Hong Kong. He can be from, you know, a number of different you know, Asian countries. So, you know, this prejudice is on both sides. But either way, you know, the same way I think that every Asian person is Chinese or every Hispanic person is Mexican, the same way to think every black person is a thief, every black person is, you know, this and that. So, you know, there's prejudices that go all the way around. But again, when you are a black person, you live in the hood, you need to go to the store and get milk. You need to go to the store and get these chips, or go to the store and get X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? You have to go to the Chinese man, or you got to go to the Mexican man, right? So most of the time it's a Chinese store though. So you go to a Chinese store, and Chinese think every black man is a thief, is a criminal, this and this. So the moment you walk in the store, they're gonna have they're gonna have a bell that's gonna be like ding dong, like to let them know that somebody entered the store. Then you look up right there. They're gonna have a sign that says "Smile, you're on camera." Then by the time you look at the place where they have the cashier portion, there's going to be a like a monitor, like a computer monitor, and it's gonna have the cameras on there. Boom, 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 boom. So this is all psychological play that's going on here, letting them know like, okay, I know you in the store with the ding dong. You on camera. I'm gonna show you. I'm not lying about the cameras. Look, we got you on camera right here. Don't try nothing stupid. Da da da. So this is a game they play, right? So you walk in the store, boom, boom. So you walk in the store, he got all the security, but he's still gonna be, watching you from the moment you walk in to the moment you walk out, just watching you, watching you move here, watching you move there. If you got a backpack on, take your backpack off. Like these are the type of things that we deal with. When you just want to go to the little store. You know what I mean, in the States, because everybody has their prejudices and their racistness, and so the Chinese man don't live in the hood. He never lives in the hood. You see, but he owns stores in the hood, right? So I need the Chinese man to get the items that I want to get from the store, right? Because a lot of people don't even have cars in the hood and different things like that, and people taking the bus is dangerous. So we walk to places, or we take a little short drive with somebody who has a car. You can't tell them, yo, take me all the way over to Manhattan Beach so I can go ahead and get some sprouts. You can't tell them all that. So you gotta just go to the local store, which is gonna be owned by the Chinese man or the Mexican man. So you go to the store, and this is what you deal with. So the Chinese man needs the black man's money for his business to survive, right? So he has to allow the black man in the store. He has to allow the black man to get what he wants, and he has to sell what the black man is buying. Simultaneously, the black man needs the Chinese man to get what he needs to eat for the day, or to smoke what he wants to smoke, or drink what he wants to drink. So it's a cycle where we need each other, and that's how all of LA is. So all of LA is very prejudiced, and very racist. But we have to coexist. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I lived in an environment like that. You know what I mean? For my entire basically my entire life. And so when people were saying that Egypt was gonna be racist and different things like that, I was like, oh man, like that was the reason why I was like, I'm going to the Gambia, man. I don't know about all this other stuff. You feel me? So, but anyway, as I decided to come out here and see what it was about for myself, it to me it's been the complete opposite. It's definitely been a complete opposite. I would say I can even just give a couple of examples of times. So basically, let's say like this. When I go into a store here, some stores will have cameras, some stores won't have cameras. But it can be two, the cashier and a friend. They can be there talking, boom, boom, boom. I walk in the store, they'll continue their conversation. You know what I mean? Like they don't even mention, they don't make you know that okay, it's a black man in the store. They don't make you like actually monitor him. You walk in the store, they're talking, they'll continue to talk. I'll go walk around the store, get what I need to get, and come to the register. They'll say the price. I get out the store. You know what I mean? There's no type of in stores back in the States, they'll tell you to hurry up and buy. If you're in the long, hurry up and buy. Like, what are you doing? Why are you in here so long? Because they think you're plotting against them and different things like that. So here, you just do what you want to do. You go in the store, get your items, place them down, you pay the price, you go. Another time I was on a boat. The time I made a video about all right, so yeah, I was on that boat. I made a video about me going scuba diving actually. So check that video out if you haven't already. So anyway, I'm there. I'm scuba diving. No. I'm there. Everybody was on the top deck. They leave their stuff there. They had their phones there, their purses there, backpacks there. All kind of stuff was on the top deck. Now everybody's on the bottom deck because they're going scuba diving. But I was like, hold on, I'm gonna wait and let my sister go. And when she tell me, yo, it's cool, it's not cool, then that's when I decide, okay, if I'm going or not. So just everybody's off the top deck. Everybody's on the bottom deck. Everybody's in the water, different things like that. Now I'm on the top deck by myself. Like I said, everybody has their phones, purses, bags, all kind of stuff like that. In a place like LA, California, I would not have flown whatsoever. You know what I mean? They would have been like, yeah, you got to come down. You can't be up here. They would have been hiding their stuff, locking their stuff, different things like that. But neither the passengers nor the cabin crew was, let me monitor another. I was just up there posted up chilling, you know what I mean, doing what I wanted to do. And there wasn't any tension between anybody. So you know what I mean? That was an experience that let me know, okay, now that stuff that they were telling me about the racism, at least from where I am in the city that I'm in the area that I'm in, it has not been true. You know what I mean? I'll let you know if it was that case. But yeah, I just haven't experienced it, and I'm very thankful and very grateful for that, because I just not trying to go back to living that type of lifestyle. Now, I mean, there's a whole other part to this, a whole other phase to this, and it's like, okay, you can be discriminated against because you color your skin. Now, that hasn't happened to me here in Egypt. All praise to the Most High. Likewise, that did not happen to me in Tanzania. All praise to the Most High. I think it's a little harder in Tanzania because everybody looks the same, you know. So this was a lesson, though, the hard lesson I learned in Tanzania, and that is the color of your skin doesn't matter to Africans. What matters is what language you speak, your heritage, where you're born. That's what matters. And so, and it's the moment they hear you speak English, you know what I mean, in TZ in Tanzania, they no longer see you as a human. They no longer see you as their brother. They see you as money, right? And that's what it comes down to. They see you as money, and that's it. And I mean, it's just very simple. You want a Bajaji ride? There's a local price. There is your price. You know, you want a bottle of water. There's going to be a local price, and then there's going to be your price. You know what I mean? Same thing, and that's with like little stores and things like that. Even when things are a little bit more regulated, you know what I mean? Let's say, for example, the Zanzibar ferry. You want to go from Dar to Zanzibar. There's a local price, and then there's your price. You know, likewise, when you come into the country, there's, you know, prices for people with these passports. If you got that passport, this is your price. You know what I mean? And so there's always this dynamic, you know what I mean, about where you're from and which you're going to pay for because of where you're from, right? And there's going to be a price that you're going to pay because of where you're from. Now, I understand the concept of an American tax. You know what I mean? You know, Americans, I guess you can say in general, you know, have a stronger currency than most other countries, so you can afford to pay potentially a little bit more for certain things, right? So I understand that concept. I have no problem with that concept whatsoever. But the level that it is in Tanzania is almost parasitic. You know, it's like they just suck one hose dry and move on to the next. Suck one hose dry and move on to the next. There's no, how would you say? There is no. I want to say remorse. There's no like flexibility within it. You know what I mean? It's just speaking that, and then I'm gonna grab you for everything I can, and that is what it is. So, you know, once you kind of wise up to the fact that, okay, they didn't see me as this, you know what I mean? You kind of wise up. It's not how Pan-Africanists make it seem, different things like that. Is, you know, it kind of puts you into a us versus them situation. And when there is those two sides, then what happens or what it becomes is, you know, there's the only thing that can follow suit after that is fighting, right? And this is just the way that I look at it, you know. So when you kind of look back, there's a small period of time on YouTube in particular. YouTube is a microcosm of society, like, you know, like, so, you know, when Tiffany Banner, when she ended up leaving and posting the video, that kind of set the whole space of Tanzania kind of like two sides, you know. And there was, you know, one side that was like, yeah, you're right, da 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 da, and another side of like, you're wrong, da da da. And then there was a lot of fighting between, you know, locals and expats, or repats, locals and repats. And so, you know what I mean? When that happened, it was a very much a us versus them mentality. Oh, you Americans, then you can come over here and da 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 da, or you da da da, then you can da 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 da, or, you know what I mean, different things like that. And then you had YouTubers, you know what I mean, that were on both sides, you know, kind of chiming in, boom, 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 and it's like, okay, well, if you are American and you're not agreeing with us, then you this, or, you know, so it became a really big thing, because that mentality does exist, you know, within TZ. It's the us versus them mentality. Now, I feel that Americans or foreigners as a whole, you know what I mean, come into it thinking, open arms, versus the people who are already there. They already understand that, you know, if you're not from this country, you're not from this tribe, you're not speaking this language, it is, you know what I mean, there's a difference, you know what I mean. So yeah, those are some of the things that I would say have occurred. Now, that situation so far has not occurred to me here in Egypt. The prices, from the moment I got here, I've been able to pay standard pricing from the moment I got here. And let me just go ahead, I'll give you a breakdown of how it was, right? When I first landed, you know, I had the option. That means, like, I always had the option to pay standard pricing, the option to take a free shuttle bus to the bus stop that was in the Cairo airport. Now, at this bus stop, I can get on the bus. There's a lot of buses there. I could take it to basically any city, not any city. I can take it to basically any direction I wanted to go to. So if I wanted to go up, back, side, left, whatever. There was a bus that was gonna take me there, 5p, 5 pounds, which I think is like 30 cents. All right. I was able to take, I'll be able to take that bus from the airport to where I need to get to. Then from there, get on a Go Bus. Go Bus is standard pricing. It's already there on the phone. Get to my location, call an Uber, and boom, I'm there. Now when I arrived in TZ, it's a little bit different. Oh yeah, and then you arrive at your place. You go to the store. From the moment I got here, the stores have charged me regular pricing. There hasn't been any store I go to and they charging me boom this price, another store charging me that price, and this person charging me. Everything has been the same. It's been standard, which has been much appreciated. These are small mom and pop stores. It's not like main stores where they have to give you the right price and everything. Nah, these are just regular stores. You know what I mean? They see me, they see I speak English, and I say, oh, okay, let me size them up. No, it hasn't been any of that. So it's been great, man. It's been great. A shift of pace. What was I about to say? These videos I got like a little bit of outline, but it's kind of all over the place. Before you got to TZ, you know what I mean? You're immediately bombarded with people trying to sell you taxi rides, and different things like that. And things like that, and so you try to call a boat, like I'm use boat, but if you don't have phone service, then I mean it's pretty much a wrap for you for that boat thing. And most people may not have phone service when they arrive, so you will go ahead and go one of these taxis. The taxi will overcharge you. I think I ended up paying 50,000 shillings just to get from the airport to my Airbnb. The first night that I got here, which is extremely overly priced, which I would say is probably 15,000 shillings too much. Probably 15,000 shillings too much. Yeah. You go to the stores. If you go to a official store, then you get the right price. But if you go to any of the other little smaller shops, it's a chance that you're going to. It's not a chance. If they hear you speaking English, things like that, they're going to charge you with a price that's not going to be the same for local people. And it just is what it is. If you try to negotiate, you try to negotiate for a boat ride, or I mean not for a boat ride, for like a bajaji ride or a boda ride. You're not using the app of boat. You're going to be overcharged. So those are some of the things that happen over there. That what I mean. I would say it's not racism because it's not because of my race, but it is a form of discrimination, and it's mostly because of the country you're born in or the heritage you have or different things like that. You know what I mean? And this extends, like I said, it extends from the civilians, but it also extends up into the government. You know what I mean? Even within the government, there is discrimination based off of the country which you're coming in from. It's discrimination based off of the race that you are, from the country that you're from. There's discrimination, you know what I mean, on all fronts. And it is what it is. I've had people come up to you in TZ and they'll try to say, oh, my N-word, and different things like that. That has not happened to me here thus far. And I don't even think that is something that would happen from the vibe that I get from people. It's something that would happen here. But yeah, it's a lot of differences, man. A lot of differences. But I think there's a lot of myths about this country of Egypt, man. I want to go ahead and break this video out, get this video out to the streets, let people know a couple of things, because I don't think it's 2021. So I think the age of misinformation is done. I feel like you can research and find out a lot of different things. So I know the myths that have been propagated about this place so far. They've been myths to me. Y'all, I'll praise to the Most High. You know what I mean? Y'all willing it continues to be the same way. That I don't, that things don't change, or I don't know, but maybe it's the city that I'm in, different things like that. But this has been my experience thus far. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys maybe learned a thing or two. Let me know in the comment section what your experience has been in North Africa. Do you think North Africa is a real Africa? Is it fake Africa? Is it a whole different country in itself, like lying about the maps? I don't know. You let me know a thing or two about it, man. What do you guys think? Also, let me know in the comment section below, what are some of the myths that you heard about Egypt that you may want me to do a part 2 on, right? And maybe you heard that it's so-and-so, or that it's this, and this. Drop them in the comments, and I can try to do a part 2. If I've experienced those things or haven't experienced those things, I can kind of let you guys know. Shout out to all of the new people who are watching the channel, everybody who's probably here in Egypt or from Egypt, man. Thank you for the hospitality. It's been great. Shout out to everybody who's here watching. That's NTZ. That's from Tanzania, man. I still love Tanzania for real. Like I said, it's a blessed land. It's definitely a blessed land, man. And I can't even take nothing from it. On that aspect, man, it's a great place. It's a great place. First, if you were to land into Africa for the first time, I still recommend Tanzania. Can't lie. Can't lie. Like Tanzania is a dope spot. But other than that, man, you guys let me know in the comment section. Like this video, 1,000 likes. Share this video out. Give it out to a friend. Everything like that. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, and we're trying to start getting 1,000 likes on the video. So smash the like button. All right, see you guys at the next one. Y'all willing? Peace.